Hey guys, it's Buddy Glasgow here once again. Welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be about the 70 uh, good, bad, and meh things of the rise of Skywalker. Now, I reviewed the movie a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to make this video, but it's taken me a while to assemble all these. So, let's go over these. Maybe you'll agree with them. Now, these are in no particular order, and this should be... If you're going to go see the fucking movie, you would have seen it by now. Okay, so there should be no spoilers, and let me know how many of these you agree with or disagree with. Alright, let's go down again, no particular order. We'll start with the good stuff. The effects, I have to give it to them. It's a thumbs up on these. They were really good for the most part. There were a few that were off the mark, like at the end with the Emperor's Chamber and the Sith Eternal and the audience. 2 was Luke was better. The way they did Luke Skywalker in this movie was way better than the Last Jedi version. Was he perfect? Nah, no, but it was way better than Last Jedi. They still could have done more with him, and had they not fucked him up in the last movie, they probably would have. 3, almost all the jokes landed this time. Unlike Last Jedi, pretty much every joke landed, with laughs from the audience I was with. 4, CPO, 3 CPO was good. 3PO, I thought was pretty good in this movie. They gave him a lot to do, mixing him up. This time he wasn't like the butt of all the jokes. 5, CGIing young Luke and Leia. I like the brief flashback with the young Luke and the Leia saber fighting. It was too short in my opinion, but it's done well enough that I just wish you had more of that one. Number 5, Han Solo returns. Yes, for a brief time we have Harrison Ford come back for a brief moment with Kylo on that piece of the Death Star. We solved this with him saying, "I'm just a memory of yours, kid." They have a talk like they did on the in the Force Awakens on the bridge, but it was okay. I mean, so he wasn't a Force ghost. All right, that was the good. Let's go. That was a short list. Let's go with what was bad. Hyperspace skipping. Since when did it not take a while to calculate the jump to light speed? Come on, man. And they didn't even bother explaining how it was possible. They could have just simply said in passing something like, "Hey, it's a good thing we don't need to wait as long as those jump coordinates like we used to." Or something like that. That would have been simple. And it probably would have been so bad if he wasn't skipping into fucking city after city in a planet. Now, it's been well known that you can't force jump in a gravity well. That's why those interdictor cruisers were so bad in the Star Wars lore and Clone Wars. So evidently they seem to forget that shit. And that was Disney shit. So number 8, they didn't fix the fucking Falcon. They didn't fix the Falcon. Fix the Falcon. Now this is as what I'm talking about is when the Falcon comes in after all that hyperspace skipping onto the planet. It's on fucking fire. And Ray still says they can't do that with Falcon because it didn't have a compressor. Now, come on. Now, still, it's been like, what, 2-3 years movie time since The Force Awakens, and you still haven't put a damn compressor on the fucking Falcon? Come on, that's poor writing. That was 8. Number 9. How did Luke's old saber get repaired? At the end of The Last Jedi, Anakin's saber had been destroyed in what looked like beyond repair condition, but here it's back, slick as a fucking whistle, like nothing happened. If they repaired it, they should have just showed it and talked about it. After all, making your own lightsaber is a rite of passage for a Jedi. Hell, they could have just shown her doing it together when she was floating in the middle of the damn rocks at the beginning. Show her using the Force to fuse together that saber back together. Number 10, why didn't this Emperor stop using his fucking lightning? Okay, this was fucking dumb. Why didn't Palpatine stop using his lightning when Rey blocked it with her saber and started to force it back at him? Now, this is like the 3rd time he's had this problem. Mace Windu did it. He had this problem in Return of the Jedi. And then, of course, here you go, Rey does it again. He does this all fucking over again. After all this time, you'd have thought Palpatine would have learned by now to not use fucking Force lightning versus a saber. Number 11. Also, Rey Rey stopping that mega force lightning with a fucking saber. So we've seen the Emperor knock out fighters and large ships with this new mega force lightning of his just before this, and Rey stops this fucking lightning with a saber. Bullshit. Number 12. A fully functioning ship in the middle of an open desert. Why the fuck would there be a fully functioning starship left around in the desert after years of being there and no one bothered to steal it? Number 11. The dagger. That fucking Sith dagger. I'm not going over this one. There are plenty of people out there that bitch about this dagger. Now, if it had fucking glowed, or I felt the force through it, and the dagger showed her the way with the force, maybe it would have worked that way instead of that goddamn look at the wreckage and pull out the pointer thing in the hilt. No, that sucked. 14. Who banged the Emperor, and why was this son not force sensitive? Did someone bang Emperor Palpatine when he was a senator or emperor? Was she a follower? Did Palpatine use the Force again? Why couldn't his son use the Force? If Palpatine was so powerful, and they are basically saying this is why Rey is so powerful, why is none of this shit told to us? And don't tell me that we'll find this out in a fucking book or a novel. As a moviegoer, we shouldn't have to buy that shit. And this is the problem. They're retconning all these fucking movies with novelizations, comic books, and you don't get to see the movie. That's bullshit. Number 14. 15. How did the TIE fighters hyperskip? Do the new First Order TIEs have hyperdrives? How can they track the Falcon, which in The Last Jedi took a big-ass machine to do it? They never said if the TIEs could do hyperspace. That's, never explained it. 16. How did Kylo get from Endor to Exegol in an old TIE fighter? They don't have hyperdrives either. Did he call in a replacement? Did he use a special TIE fighter of the Royal Guard? Because the Royal Guard TIE fighters, I do believe, had hyperdrives, but then again, the TIE fighter arrives in does not have red coloring for the Royal TIE Guard fighters. 17. Last Jedi established that the Force balances itself. If so, then where were all the Jedi to counter all the Sith Eternals in the Emperor's stadium/throne room? It's basically just Rey and Kylo. 18. Where did all the Star Destroyers and crew come from? No, we can't just believe that a bunch of loyal crew on the Star Destroyers. Come on. Especially at Exegol. They could have, I guess. It was from the Emperor's last orders when he was alive, but come on. He did do that in the old EU comics, and I noticed that JJ does like to steal shit from the comic books. That's where this came from. But they aren't mentioned. But not to mention, these are supposed to be all new Star Destroyers, so that wouldn't work. Because they're not refits. So where did all this materials to build them come from? Was Exegol actually a Starforge? This is never explained. 19. Why no shields on the new Star Destroyers while they're in atmosphere? So I guess the new Star Destroyer, boy, that sucks. That's stupid for a new Star Destroyer. You can't have shields in the fucking atmosphere? Well, shit, just fight them all in atmosphere. 20. Why only one ship that knows the way out? Why the hell isn't any of the ships find their own way out from Exegol? This makes no fucking sense. Why only one ground tower? Why only one ship tower? 21. Why give a 16-hour time limit warning? Why does the Emperor wait until 16-hour time limit is up to send out the fleet? Why not deploy them out into the galaxy and then give the fucking 16-hour warning? That way most of your new ships should still be available to fight, and there'd be no way to stop them all by the time the 16 hours was up. Number 22. Palpatine states he controlled Snoke but doesn't know nothing about the damn Force dyad. 23. Why did Anakin's saber call out to Rey? She's a Palpatine. And I know this grants back to The Force Awakens. But still, no answer here. This is the end of the movie. Nothing is answered. 24. How did Maz get Luke's saber? old saber. She never tells us, and she said she was going to in the first movie. 25. Where did all the rebel ships come from? At the end, when no one answered Leia's call in The Last Jedi, they wouldn't come to her when she was alive, but now she's dead. They all come hell bent for leather when she's dead. 26. How did Lando How did Lando get all their ships in less than 2 hours? 27. Rey, the Mary Sue that she is, can pilot a sea skiff boat with ease, even though the locals say it's too dangerous and they should wait for the sea to calm down in the next day. But Desert Dweller Rey says, fuck y'all, and shows them all up. 28. Rey's bursts of anger are never explained. 29. There had jetpacks in the prequels, the originals, and the cartoons, but they fly now as a thing. 30. The Emperor's lightning disables or destroys all of the rebel ships, but they still act like they're in space and not atmosphere. None of them drop like a fucking rock and plow into the planet below. 31. The signal tower can't be attacked from there, even though clearly it can be. Finn really wanted to ride them space horses, huh? 32. Why didn't the Star Destroyers just tilt to get the space horses off the ship? It was an easy solution. 33. Poe Dameron is now a piss poor pilot. Okay, so this guy went from being their best pilot in The Force Awakens and Last Jedi and to sucking now. This guy blew away 10 TIE fighters in less than 15 seconds in The Force Awakens and managed to hyperspace skip without a computer, and now he sucks at dogfighting. Give me a fucking break. 34. Rey finds the dagger when Luke and Lando couldn't. 35. The Holdo maneuver is now a 1 in a million shot. Right. Give me a break. 36. Rey kisses Kylo even though she's hated his guts since The Force Awakens. 37. Why didn't Rey make a two-bladed lightsaber? It would fit her fighting style a lot more. 38. Why no alarms when Rey, Finn, and Poe and the rest storm the Star Destroyer and blast away the troopers in the hangar? 39. Force healing is overpowered in this movie. Yes, Force healing has been around in comics and games, but not to this degree. You can now force heal the dead back to life, so now death has no meaning and is no longer a consequence. 40. What was Finn going to tell Rey? We were never told. It comes down to either I'm force sensitive or I'm in love with you. I say it's the force sensitive thing. Wasn't it? Okay, that's kind of bullshit. Everyone seemed to know he was force sensitive. I say he's going to tell her that he loved her. After all, it seems to be that Finn has been obsessed with Rey since The Force Awakens. It's the first thing he always asks about when he comes with someone he doesn't know she's there. Where's Rey? What's with Rey? 41. Why was Han Solo the vision that Ben Solo had? This makes no sense, no matter how they tried to spin it. Either Force reject Leia or even Anakin Skywalker talking about being fooled by the Emperor here would have made much better sense. 42. Force fighting and teleporting. This is absolute fucking bullshit. If Force projecting and fighting or Force projecting will kill you shortly, then how does basically matter transportation not kill you instantly? This is dumb. Why didn't Kylo notice the Sith dagger in Rey's hand when they were fighting and force projecting from the Star Destroyer in his room? You'd have thought he would have noticed that. 44. The film title is a lie. The film is called The Rise of Skywalker, but all the Skywalkers are dead. By the end of the movie, Ben should have lived and Rey should have stayed dead to make this title work. No, simply changing your name to Skywalker doesn't do it. You could have used Rey's death to have Ben go fully back to the light side and end the Emperor. Then have him in Rey's place at the end, and you can see him set off on his path to redemption. That would make a hell of a lot more fucking sense. 45, Palpatine wins. His goal was to be killed by Rey and then eventually take over body. Rey kills him, and just like he wanted, and who is it to say he is dead? Fuck, he's been, we thought he was dead before. He said he's died before. Wasn't the first time he died. Maybe he'll wait to possess her down the line. 46. Why didn't the TIE daggers and the Star Destroyers destroy the now mobilized Rebel fleet from after the Mega Lightning? They were all now mobile and easy targets, but they don't attack them. 47. Why did you change Poe Dameron's backstory to a spice runner instead of a pilot who came from a family already with the Resistance? Again, that was not necessary. 48. More planet-killing weapons. Give me a fucking break. Not only do we now have a planet-killing ship, now we've got thousands of them. For fuck's sake, enough with this shit. This is overused. Number 49. The Emperor's return wasn't explained, so they don't properly explain how the Emperor survived the Death Star explosion. Was he cloned and possessed his clone body? Did he reform his body using the Force? It isn't told how. You can assume that it was through cloning, since he cloned Snoke. It's like, hey, Palpatine's alive. Well, how did that happen? I have no idea, but it's not that important. Stupid shit. 50. Poor lightsaber battle choreography. These lightsaber battles had to be some of the suckiest saber battles in the franchise. The one battle between the two Reys was too short. And the one with Kylo and Rey near the end was way too long in slow motion. And the ones in the three rooms just sucked because there was no real saber battle. 51. Failing to kill off Leia in a better way. Now I know Carrie Fisher passed away before any real filming could begin. But you could have done a way better job of killing her off. Now, having her exhaust herself using the Force was okay. I don't have an issue with that. My issue is the fact that she did very little of Force usage there at the end and really didn't warrant her death. All she does is lay down and attempt to communicate with Kylo. As he and Rey are dueling, we see Kylo stop, turn around, but nothing's there. No Force projecting, no voice, and then Rey stabs him with her saber. Kylo goes down. Then Rey Force heals Kylo. JJ could have just had a body double and CGI'd Carrie Fisher's face over the double. And have Leia come over to her fallen son and use her projection to heal Kylo's wounds. As we have Kylo feel his mother's love as she's healing him. And we have a last tender moment between mother and son. Maybe we could have something like, she tells him, it's okay, Ben. We've always loved you, no matter what. With Kylo trying to say he was sorry. And, of course, Leia tells Ben that they never stopped loving him. As she fades away as Kylo's wound is finally healed. And we can keep that her body doesn't fade away yet. Excuse me. And we keep her hand falling at the bedside like it did. This now puts Kylo in a stupor. And we have Rey want to finish him off. But she sees that something is different about him. And then we have her leave like she did. In the movie, we then can have, of course, follow up with the Harrison Ford thing. Or Anakin Skywalker would have been better. Because remember, his mom, Leia, was the one thing that kept him from fully going to the dark side. Her healing him up and saving him from death could have pushed him over the edge back to the light. And it didn't do it. It's simple. I came up with that in 5 fucking minutes. Number 52, the space battle. Come on. How do you fuck this up? The motherfucker is way too short. There's not enough action. This was a piss poor battle. One of the worst. I would say it has to be one of the worst ones of the fucking whole franchise. Number 53. Why didn't Force Ghost help Rey defeat the Emperor? If Luke could grab a saber and lift an X-Wing and Yoda could call down lightning, then why didn't Luke, Yoda, Kenobi, Qui-Gon, and Anakin and some others not show up in the Emperor's throne room or stadium and and help Rey against Palpatine, or at least hold back the Sith Eternal from in the seats. Then they could have all joined forces to help Rey kill off the Emperor once and for all. And this would make sure that he was dead. It also would have been kind of neat to see Anakin and Luke face the Emperor again from Return of the Jedi. 54. Why didn't the original Rebel attack group all make a run for the Star Destroyer cannons? If you see that the Star Destroyers have no shields and the main threat is the big cannon on them, why not send every ship, including the big ones like the CR-90, have them dive under those damn ships and start blasting away? This would have been a great space battle scene, seeing that these big ships get in there and scrapping with the enemy. We should have seen some of the Star Destroyers blown up with just a small initial band of ships. It would have also made them look like they're actually getting something done instead of nothing. Number 55. Kylo can't make up his mind if he wants to kill Rey or have her as a partner. Now, how many times have we even seen this in The Last Jedi? Kylo either tries and kills Rey or make her join him. Every time they talk. Dude, make up your fucking mind. 56. Why is Han the image Kylo sees in the Death Star after he was healed by Rey instead of Leia, Luke, or even fucking Anakin, his hero? His turn to the light would have been more convincing. Those all make better sense than Han Solo. And it probably would have been cheaper too. Now, I mentioned that earlier, but I combined these two, I guess. Number 57. Why does Rey have to take a sea skiff over to the Death Star? Why didn't she join in on the peripherals of the damaged Falcon? Or fuck it, why not have her use the Force to float the Falcon over there to the Death Star and land it on the water or on the wreckage? I believe the Falcon floats. After all, this would have also gave her a backup with Poe, Finn, and the rest of them. 58. Why weren't the larger Rebel ships wiped out from cannon fire from all the Star Destroyers at Exegol? With as many destroyers that were all in the formation, those lasers should have been easily able to destroy all them ships, because their ships would have been easy pickings. Especially since they're so close and they weren't moving much. The fighters I can understand, they're much faster, smaller for the larger ships to hit, but the bigger ones should have been toast as soon as they came into Exegol space. 59. Fuck hyperspace. Use force teleportation. Why does Rey even need a starship now that she can teleport shit everywhere? Why didn't she just teleport Ben to the Emperor's chamber instead of teleporting him the saber? It would have been a hell of a lot more easier. Number 60. Rey's lightsaber. When the fuck did she make this? At the end, we see her pull out her lightsaber. If she was building this thing between the two movies, why didn't she use it instead of Anakin's saber or even Leia's saber? This would have made more sense since Anakin's saber was already destroyed. Where the fuck did she get the yellow or gold kyber crystal from? Those were rare even during the Old Republic days, and I'm sure even tougher now. And we can assume she didn't get it from Anakin or Leia's saber, as they're both blue. 61. Also, why isn't a double-bladed saber? She used staffs for most of her life. Why not make it a double blade? 62. Hero death isn't a consequence in this movie. No major heroes die in this movie without being brought back to life, unless your last name was Skywalker or Solo. JJ didn't have the balls to kill off any of the main characters. Let Chewie die. Keep C-3PO offline or let him get shot. Let Finn and his entire ground unit get blasted off the Star Destroyer. Or fuck, Roast Tico for that matter. That would have probably gotten a couple applauses. Probably. Number 63. You destroy a planet again. Again, you blow up a planet and show force and to cause fear, and only again to have it used as a reason for the galaxy to unite against you. And as I said earlier, you only send one ship, the rest you leave back at fucking home. That's stupid. 64. Finn not being trained as a Jedi. You've known for at least 2 movies that Finn is force sensitive, so why didn't Leia or even just have Finn ask Leia to train him? Now, he may not have been as powerful than Rey, but he could have been trained to use his powers more, to dig out what was hidden inside of him. Could have even been trained more in saber combat. We already knew how to fight with weapons. And he could be a backup for Rey. I mean, what's wrong, Disney? You can't have a black man be the backup for a white girl? Where's that fucking diversity you're talking about? Okay, so I think that's enough of the bashing of what was bad. Let's talk about some of the stuff that wasn't bad in The Rise of Skywalker. Um, the Emperor's Mega Lightning to the fleet. Okay, I know I said I was upset about it earlier. But I wasn't so really upset with it. I was just upset with the way they executed it. Um, because this was seen in the comics that this story was ripped off from, the Dark Empire, where the Emperor causes a massive force disturbance, similar to force lightning, that knocks out a fleet in orbit. Number 66, the First Order using tread bikes. I wasn't mad about this part. I agree they probably should have used some repulsor lift bikes. But with the gimmick they had, as there to be a catapult, I think this was okay. I love to see him seeing a tread bike actually catch up to the sailcraft. 62, Kylo killing an officer, questioning what the Emperor wants him in return for his fleet. This is in Kylo's nature to just kill subordinates, just like Vader. But I also agree with his subordinates questioning his things. I mean, you can just surround yourself with yes men and women, because that makes you a piss poor leader. You have officers that make you think, makes you a better leader. 68, Force Ghost. Force Ghost Luke doing things now. Some people argue that Force Ghost can't do anything as a ghost. It's untrue. Again, I remember seeing in comics, especially this one, Force Ghost appeared. I want to say it was a Rogue One. Rogue Squadron comic back in the mid to late 90s. Some people being chased by a detachment of Imperials. Force Ghost appears, evens the score, and even whips out his lightsaber. His ghost lightsaber slashes at the Imperial officer, taking out his eyes, blinding him. So that's in the comics, even though they're non-canon. But evidently they are now. Disney can't make up its fucking mind. So that didn't bother me too much. 69. Luke claims he was wrong. There's nothing wrong here with him saying that with what he told in Last Jedi was wrong. Remember, it wasn't until after Rey left when Luke encountered Yoda, and Yoda counseled him and changed Luke's mind. So this would now make sense. It would still make sense with him now being crossed over to reflect on his past actions with Rey and have changed his feelings. Just makes sense. Number 70, the last one. Leia dying and vanishing. This also isn't too much of an issue here. The issue I have is they have Leia trying to contact Ben. We see nothing happen, and she just dies. Had she rejected a force image, that would make sense. Or even just said something and he heard her saying something. Also, her not disappearing before Kylo actually dies or goes back fully to the light side, it doesn't bother me. To me, that shows the bond between a mother and son. Mother holds out until her son finally comes full circle back to the light and destroys the Emperor, or Ben dies himself. It makes sense when you look at it like that. And there's a list. 70 things. Both good, mainly bad, and not so bad about The Rise of Skywalker. There's probably more, but fuck, I think 70 is enough. I rack my head with that one. You agree, you disagree? Tell me what you think. And guys, as always, go down, like, dislike, comment, and subscribe. As always, you guys take care, and I will see you all next time.